Many real estate operators run things with their gut first and then look at the numbers. And if you don't have good numbers rapidly, you're using your gut too much.
Welcome to the Real Estate Executive Thought Leadership Podcast, a commercial real estate industry show featuring insights from executive thought leaders.
In this episode of RE EXEC TL, we chat with Mark Leverette, advisory partner and CPA at BPM LLP, one of the top 30 CPA firms in the country. Mark leads BPM's real estate industry group. We talk about why solid financial infrastructure is the foundation of sustainable growth in commercial real estate, how AI and automation are reshaping back office operations, and what today's regulatory environment means for investors and operators. We also get into Mark's leadership philosophy, how BPM builds client relationships at stick, and the marketing strategies driving growth for one of the most respected names in commercial real estate accounting. Let's get started. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here, Kirky.
Thank you for being here. Let's start with your professional background. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in accounting and commercial real estate?
Sure, I'm happy to. I actually got into accounting very reluctantly. I originally went to a ski resort to try to work on the mountain, and I worked in the accounting department. It was a transitional period from 2021 to 2022. Dot-com bust. So a nice opportunity for me to get up to the mountains. Found myself in the accounting department and never looked back.
I know that some of your specialties in the real estate field, so talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I got into public accounting about 25 years ago, I focused on apparel industry, manufacturing, and it's a very interesting, detailed accounting methodology, cost accounting, big companies. And I always looked over at the real estate side of the world with hopes to be a part of it. So 20 years ago, when I joined BPM, I told the powers that be that I wanted to be a part of the real estate group. And we were a much smaller firm at the time. But they said, sure, you don't have to be a generalist. You can focus on real estate, and jumped in. Our firm has grown tremendously. And over that time, I've taken the leadership role in the real estate group and been able to work with clients as they've grown and worked with many talented accountants along the way in the different departments that we have. Right now, the real estate group in the firm represents about 20% of our firm's revenue, which is considerable. And I'm proud to say that I think we have the most talented accountants in the firm. We're all great. Real estate just happens to be my passion, and I've been lucky to have been in this position the whole time.
Are you an investor or developer yourself?
My parents were residential real estate agents. And so from a young age, I had seen the power of real estate from their lens. And my father got into many single family home investments, some of them in opportune times. And so I got to see that before getting into the position in accounting. And sure enough, the first time I had a paycheck, I did buy a home and qualified and rode that into multiple investments. And I've seen the positives and the negatives in that process. Many of my clients appreciate that I have a real estate investment portfolio and that I've operated that way. And many of our team members also have been able to invest either alongside different groups or themselves.
Yeah, it's important to work with people that know your industry.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about your company. What does your company offer and who do you serve?
So as I was saying, our firm is fairly large now. We are actually in the top 30 CPA firms in the country as far as size. And that comes with revenue, but also headcount and the variety of specializations that we have. Because of that, we've been able to work with variable sizes of organizations. We still have a passion for the boutique one-off investor type, but we've grown considerably and now work with publicly traded real estate investment trusts. We work with investment groups. We work with family offices. But as I said, we still work with one-off developers and boutique family portfolios on the real estate side. The firm has a public accounting arm or a publicly traded company arm as well. So we work with the likes of the most recent large IPOs, but we have a variety in the firm. My practice historically has been on the audit side. And for the first 10 years at BPM, I focused on audits of developers and private equity funds. And then I saw that there was an ability to help those clients more actively on an advisory scale. So I moved into the advisory side about 10 years ago and have moved away from the audit side. And my team encompasses outsourced accounting, system implementation, fractional CFO, and HR consulting for the back office for our clients.
What do you do best, and how do you express that value proposition to clients and prospects?
So the main thing that we do is we bring in the specialists that work on the client's business model, the way that they're designed. In real estate, that can be a one-off developer, that can be a home flipper, that can be a home contractor, that can be on the other side, it can be a private equity fund or a low-income housing tax credit group. That could be a property management group. And the team members that are specific or have that knowledge and background are coupled with the clients. And so our team is able to be specific to the client's business model. And I think that's a huge advantage. And then we have the strength of bench from either the technical group, if you need to be able to provide financial statements for an institutional investor, or if you have a larger portfolio, your bankers are really critical of your financial statements, but also the tax side. Obviously, our tax group, it is mostly flow through for real estate investors, and the tax group would be specific to the business model that each of our clients has.
Why are accounting and financial best practices so important in the commercial real estate industry?
Our real estate investors, all real estate investors, quite frankly, do a lot from their gut, and it's an interesting approach. But what they would love to have is good numbers and more rapidly have those numbers so they can make wise decisions. So if you're a principal running an investment fund, if it's of a substantial size, you cannot use your gut instinct. You do need to use good numbers. And so it's how good are your books? How good are your financial statements? And how quickly did you get that information? And then on the forward-looking approach, you need good models. You need good projections. You need to be able to look at your potential real estate opportunity or your portfolio against benchmark numbers that are real time. So we use various data sources to be able to help clients with that. Sometimes we're standing up the full back office. Other times we're augmenting our clients' team so that they have that type of information.
So it sounds like managing risk is one of the important things there.
Risk is a key element to a lot of our clients' businesses that it's not overlooked. But again, as I said, many real estate operators run things with their gut first and then look at the numbers. And if you don't have good numbers rapidly, you're using your gut too much. And so we try to help dashboard this information or provide more real-time information. And again, we're talking operators on one side and then investment companies on the other. And the investment companies come in all shapes and sizes. Wealth managers really need help understanding their numbers as well. Many wealth managers are deep embedded in the market. They know what they're looking for, but if the numbers that they're looking at are not timely or not correct, then they're in trouble. So that risk gets mitigated by better back office functions, better information.
What new rules and regulations are you seeing, and how are they impacting your clients and advisory?
So in 2025 into 2026, we saw huge changes in the preparation of taxes. So there was many uncertainties that existed in the change to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that needed to be clarified. Many of our clients were making decisions based upon assumptions about where these clarifications were going to happen, especially in the real estate industry. So looking at where they expected tax credits, where they expected deductions to be, how their investment in a certain area, whether it would be involved in a qualified opportunity zone or not, those types of assumptions were made. And then now we're filing the tax returns. So even before that, in 2024, when we saw potentially what was going to be coming through, there were a lot of assumptions that needed to be made. And you can play this cycle again and again. There's always going to be changes. And you need somebody on your side that can help you preemptively understand and wrap your head around what that means. However, I will say that most of the principals and CFOs that we're working with will say we don't make a decision based upon assumed coming tax law. And I agree with them that you don't typically make a decision because of that. However, you want to take advantage of as much of it as possible, and you don't want to make an assumption that's going to be wrong. So we work with our clients to get the right specialists to model out what will happen under the tax law. And then compliance is a totally different angle. So each different geographic region down to the city level has different compliance requirements. And what we can do as a firm is tap into the specialists that have that geographic or local knowledge. And then we're a CPA firm, so we don't practice law, but there's many different legal avenues that we can bring in our network and be able to connect our clients with, or at least caution them if they're going into a direction where they don't have the right legal support.
Are there any other trends or challenges you're seeing in the industry that clients should be aware of?
The biggest change that we're seeing is automation coupled with AI. So a lot of data sources can feed into automations, can feed into these AI models, and decisions can be made in real time, very quick because of these types of systems. There's cyber risk that comes with that. If you're exposing your information or your client's information to these models, there clearly needs to be a look at how that is set up. So we have a IT and cyber group that comes in and talks to our clients about that. But we actively put in these models as well, whether it is a data lake, which is something that we've all heard about, whether it's an Azure SQL database that can be accessed by AI. These terms come with some understanding of the principles, but if you want to look into what is possible, we can help with that. And we interact with a lot of these tools that interact with your data and third-party data. So I think that's the biggest change that has been bubbling up. It's been bubbling up for a couple of years, but really in the last few months, even, we've seen real differences and real interest from the real estate sector to look into how we can use the AI and the agents to be able to action what's in their back office. And by the way, your data is your edge. So don't expose it to everybody else. You have IP that is yours, and you should use it to the maximum capability. You should not allow others to get it. So those are the conversations that we're having on the bleeding edge.
Let's talk about leadership real quick. How would you describe your leadership style and how do you motivate your team?
So it's all about communication with me. I try to, on a monthly basis, I have an all hands meeting with my team, which is about 130 individuals in the advisory practice that focus on the area that I oversee. And then I do general meetings with our real estate industry group, which is a kind of a Venn diagram overlap. In those meetings, I try to give them a lot of insight into things that maybe they don't necessarily need to know, but I want them to aspire to be able to be a part of the firm at a higher level. So I expose a lot of information. And then those that would like to dive deeper, they raise their hand high and I celebrate them. So I think that's my approach. I also have this constant communication about invest in your clients. And what I mean by that is I want people to go above and beyond and really impress the clients. So give them wow experiences, which is one of the mottos within BPM, to provide the wow experience for your clients, your community, and your colleagues so that you can grow yourself and so that you can create sticky client relationships.
Let's talk a little bit about marketing. I'd like to hear how you bring in new clients. So, what marketing strategies are you using to grow your business?
I really believe in the in-person experience. And so I tell my team to get out into the market, be market facing, join different groups that are industry groups. So we have a lot of individuals in Urban Land Institute, in NAOP, in CREW, which is Commercial Real Estate Women, across the country. So in many different markets. And we ask that the team members invite others to come and join them at events. So a lot of in-person interaction. We also have a really good marketing team within BPM. And hopefully you've seen us through various avenues. LinkedIn, we have a big presence. I know that we're pointing toward Reddit quite a bit. And we're trying to make sure that SEO and GEO pick us up. and then they can have real-time interactions with us. So a very easy flow to communicate directly to the professionals that are creating the thought leadership.
What marketing channels are you finding generate the best leads and the most ROI?
The best interactions I have are in person. So those business development groups, the conferences that we can attend, that's where we really get the most immediate ROI. However, you talk to our marketing group, they'll show us the numbers and the stats that are looking at our online presence, what things like podcasts like this are able to do and unlock, and ultimately just looking at the pipeline of new clients and stronger relationships with our current clients.
What is the most crucial element in building your brand?
So building our brand, BPM stands for because people matter. And so it's sticky conversations where people hear BPM and start to relate that to what does BPM mean? And in the real estate community, I know that we're recognized, especially in some of the major regions that we're a part of. Luckily, we've got employees in 30 states now, and we have offices in 8. So we're pretty well distributed. But when somebody hears BPM, I want them to think about real estate. And we do a lot more. Like I said, real estate is a component of BPM, but I really want that to resonate. Because people matter to me stands for the people that are our clients, clearly, the colleagues that we have, but then the community, including all of the referral sources that we get to interact with. And that network really brings new relationships and new potential clients, but really reinforces the current clients that they know they're at the right firm.
And where do you envision the brand going in the next 5 years?
We're a growth-oriented company, but not at the expense of quality. So I think that you'll see a few new geographic areas through mergers. We're focused on a few key industries, real estate being a major one. Family office is another real high growth area, and not-for-profit, including the LIHTC side of the world. So I think those areas you'll see a lot of growth from BPM. Our new offices in Austin, Texas, San Diego, Manhattan, Montreal. We opened up in London last year. Those are growing tremendously through organic growth and again, through industry focus. And real estate is a major component of it.
How can listeners learn more about you?
Come on to bpm.com, and I'm Mark at bpm.com, and you'll be able to find a lot of thought leadership. Hopefully you'll find more podcasts like this and get to know me that way. I'm happy to have a conversation if it's about the things I'm passionate about, which is real estate and accounting.
One more question. What is one closing insight you'd like to share with executives targeting growth?
Number one is take time to listen and have conversations with your clients or with the network around you that is focused on the market that you want to approach.
Thank you for joining us today, Mark. We appreciate your insights.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to RE EXEC TL. Please like and subscribe for updates on upcoming episodes. Share the inspiration.